I'm Carl Pappenheim. I'm the managing director and owner of Spineless Publishing here in the UK. At the end of 2003, I came back to the UK after a period abroad and was having a spot of bother trying to find something to do. I was hanging around a lot of my friend's printing company, and they printed a lot of architectural drawings. The funny thing about them is they're very large sheets, but they have tiny text where the measurements are, and that was a funny juxtaposition to me. And I wondered how many words it would be if the whole thing was just that tiny text. So I asked John, and I believe his words were, "Leave me alone, I'm working." But I did some sums in the back of an envelope, and I came up with 100,000 words per square metre, and that was the light bulb moment. That's a book. The first design that I did was a Christmas gift for my mother. And I rang her immediately when I'd had the insight and said, "What's your favourite book?" And luckily she nominated Jane Austen's Persuasion, which was out of copyright. Well, that first one that I did got a lot of attention from friends and family, and I eventually decided I should start a website with a couple of designs. And sales started trickling in, and they built slowly over a couple of years. And then in 2010, I took the concept to a trade show at Earl's Court, and it just went stratospheric. We had orders from high street shops and independent retailers, all of whom were really inspired by it and thought it was a great idea. Every Spineless Classic is a complete novel, but on one page. So if you start at the top left, you'll find Once Upon a Time, and if you look at the bottom right, you'll see Happily Ever After. And in between, every word, every paragraph has been preserved, all the original formatting. And we've just nudged the letters here and there out of the way to create an image so that from a distance, it may be too small to read, but you see a beautiful picture on the wall. We've been very lucky to work with a range of publishers and rights holders to license a wide range of texts. We've got adult titles like 1984, Brave New World, right through to children's titles like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and A Bear Called Paddington. We're also branching out into other things that aren't obviously novels. We've done a range of fairy stories, which are nice and short, which makes for smaller prints for people who have more bijou homes here in London, perhaps. And we're doing scripts now. We've got a few Shakespeare titles, and we've just been very proud to announce the first 5 episodes of Thunderbirds, just in time for the 50th anniversary. We get asked a lot whether a particular print can be printed in different sizes. And the answer is yes, of course, in theory. In practice, we're limited by the fact that all of our prints are legible. We can't go any smaller than about 4 point, because it starts to be a bit of a struggle to actually read them, and that's kind of the point. I feel like if it's only part of a book, then that's not very special. And if you can't read it, well, we've all read the Guinness Book of World Records and seen the Bible written on a grain of sand, but it's not practically useful. The interesting part is when it intersects between being the complete book and being legible and being only on one page. That's when the magic really happens. We have tried to stick to standard frame sizes, and that means that framing is super easy. You can buy a rolled up print through the mail from us and then get a frame off the shelf in any one of a number of shops on the high street. Well, Spineless Classics are available in a number of high street retailers. We're in some national chains and a bunch of really lovely independent homeware and gift retailers. We also have a website. In fact, we have 4 websites. We're available in 4 different countries. A slightly different range depending on local tastes and depending on sizes. So we have an American, English, Australian and South African websites. When I started with Spineless, it was really important to me that the experience of receiving and owning one would be perfect. So we start with this amazing typography with the attention to detail, so that when you look closely at it 6 months after you've got it, it's still amazing. And then we print it in light fast ink, which won't fade, onto acid-free paper that won't go yellow. They're rolled into a plastic sleeve, and then the highest grade cardboard tube we could find. We ship mostly next day, same day in some cases, and we take absolute pride in making sure that everything arrives safely. Well, we're really excited to announce that we're doing something a bit different this year. It's still text, still all on one page, but it's a bit more typographically led, and it's a much smaller word count than we're used to. About 15 years ago, there was a single released by Baz Luhrmann, the movie director, that was known as the Sunscreen Song, and it was a bunch of great life advice spoken over a music background. And I've always held a special place in my heart for these words. They're very meaningful, and I think you can take a lot of inspiration from any part of it. So we investigated and found that originally the text was actually written by a woman called Mary Schmick, who wrote an article in the Chicago Tribune called "Advice Like Youth, Probably Just Wasted on the Young." So we've licensed the text and we've produced it as this print. It's available either in black and white or in colour, and I think people are going to really enjoy having it on their wall and appreciating that life advice every day.